first in the nation, the New Hampshire primary.
It is a great, great state. You know, we won New Hampshire.
This race is far from over.
Voters cast their ballots.
The line is very, very long.
Democracy is working with all these people coming out.
We have live team coverage. The news starts now.
In breaking news in Decision 2024, NBC News projects Donald Trump as the winner of the New Hampshire GOP primary, tightening his grip on the Republican presidential nomination.
It increases the likelihood he faces off once again with President Joe Biden, who's projected to win tonight's Democrat primary after a write-in campaign to put him on the ballot. A really busy night in New Hampshire as the road to the White House has just run through the Granite State. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Glenn Jones.
And I'm Priscilla Casper. We have live team coverage for you from the first in the nation primary tonight. And leading it all is our Corey Smith and JC Monahan live in Manchester. Good evening, guys.
Good evening, Glenn and Priscilla. So glad to be staying up with you. We've been burning the midnight oil, it feels like, since about 5 o'clock, watching all these votes roll in across the Granite State. We're here in Manchester at the Armory, NBC News' headquarters for your primary Tuesday.
Most of the polls closed by 7. All of the polls closed by 8, and it didn't take long. We're talking minutes before we started getting projections for the winners. Let's take a look at the numbers as they stand right now. The Republican race, Donald Trump has 54% of the vote. Nikki Haley has 44% of the vote, with 60% of the precincts reporting.
Yeah, that margin has not moved in the last hour and a half, so still sitting at 10 points. We know former President Trump was feeling very confident going into tonight's race.
All right, most polls seem to agree, right? He was going to have a big win. We have Malcolm Johnson, who's been live in Nashua at Trump's watch party, checking in with him on how things have been tonight. Malcolm.
Hey, JC and Corey. You know, tonight Donald Trump was able to cruise to a primary victory here in the nation's first primary in the country. What we saw was a large amount of his supporters filling this ballroom, really enthused and excited to see tonight's results. This is an election that many folks weren't too surprised to see what the outcome was. But Trump opened his speech here tonight mocking Haley, calling her an imposter and delusional. He also said that she lost and, quote, had a very bad night. Now, Haley poured a lot of money, more than $31 million and resources into the state and its many independent voters. Trump's success tonight has prompted more calls from Republicans in Congress for Haley to drop out of the race. Trump was joined on stage by political allies and supporters, including Vivek Ramaswamy, Tim Scott, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Supporters of Trump listened in as he talked about moving on in the campaign trail.
We are going to win this. We have no choice. If we don't win, I think our country is finished. I do. I believe our country is finished. We have an opportunity to do something so amazing. And the good news and the reason we have such support, the best numbers I've ever had, the reason we have support is because they are so bad.
And we know one area that Trump certainly has a lead when it comes to Haley in South Carolina, where this primary race will now go, is within elected officials. Trump has 7 of the 8 members of the state's congressional delegation that have all backed them. They include Tim Scott, who took the stage here tonight. And there's also the state's governor that spoke on his behalf Saturday night in Manchester. So a lot of momentum as this primary race and campaign trail now makes its way south to South Carolina. We're live reporting in Nashua. I'm Malcolm Johnson, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Malcolm, thank you. Of course, we have to focus on the fact that at one point there were more than a dozen candidates for the Republican nomination. Now there are 2, and so we want to cover Nikki Haley as well, coming in second place, but with a 10-point margin, as we were talking about, and putting a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort into New Hampshire.
Yeah, she is spinning these results, despite what the number's saying. She is going to stay in this race to South Carolina, that home game, as I said over on NECN earlier tonight. Let's go ahead and go live to her watch party in Concord, where our Matt Pritchard is standing by with more on where her campaign goes from here.
Corey, JC, Nikki really tried to put together a confident tone as she came out on the stage trying to rally supporters and show them that her candidacy still has a path forward in this race, despite the fact that there's plenty of disappointment of finishing behind former President Donald Trump.
Please welcome the next president of the United States, Nikki Haley.
After months campaigning in the Granite State, Nikki Haley acknowledging her second-place finish.
I want to congratulate Donald Trump on his victory tonight. He earned it.
NBC News projecting a win for the former president just after polls closed, marking his second straight victory in early voting states and leading to questions over whether his lone competitor will remain in the 2024 race.
They're falling all over themselves, saying this race is over.
Now, Haley quickly setting aside those concerns.
New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation.
And taking aim at both Donald Trump and Joe Biden.
With Donald Trump, you have one bout of chaos after another. This court case, that controversy, this tweet, that senior moment. You can't fix Joe Biden's chaos with Republican chaos.
Now, those comments will need to register with South Carolina voters, her home state, in an absolutely critical primary scheduled for February 24th.
We are just getting started. Thank you for the energy.
Now, results still are coming in here in New Hampshire, but right now she is down double digits percentage-wise, about 11% or so, with about 50% of the vote in. At least that's what I last saw from NBC News. So certainly a lot of talk was had heading into this that it needed to be at least in single digits. Right now, she definitely wants to bring that down in the coming hours as these votes continue to be tabulated. But as you mentioned, Corey, she's going to be moving on to South Carolina and try to stick things out, keep collecting delegates, and hope that she can continue her candidacy as we get closer and closer to November of 2024. Guys.
Our Matt Pritchard live from Nikki Haley campaign headquarters in Concord, New Hampshire. Meanwhile, on the Democratic side of things, this race was called very early as well. NBC projecting President Joe Biden has won the New Hampshire primary, beating out the likes of Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson. They were on the ballot. President Biden not on the ballot, but the write-in campaign was successful. It was the end of a very strange primary season for Democrats here in the Granite State, again, because Biden wasn't on the ballot.
Because the DNC decided New Hampshire would no longer be the first primary for their party. So we want to go to Eli Rosenberg, who's been there all night. And Eli, listening to you tonight, it does sound like also there was a lot of youth that was part of this write-in momentum, talking about QR codes to help people figure out how to vote. What are you hearing?
Definitely an unusual campaign process and an unusual watch party because we did not have a candidate here, but organizers say this was a success. The banners are down, the stage taken apart, but a lot of happy faces and smiling people here after months and months of work to educate and create this awareness of what they were trying to do in terms of getting voters to go in and actually write Joe Biden's name on the ballot and circle that little oval so it would count. President Biden tonight is at the White House, but these organizers say this whole goal was to make sure that while he may be gone, he was definitely not forgotten.
Tonight, Joe Biden has won the New Hampshire primary with almost 2 times the Democratic turnout as 2012.
Tonight after President Biden, the projected Democratic nominee in New Hampshire, the fact he isn't here based on a decision made more than a year ago to make South Carolina the very first national primary next month, bypassing, of course, New Hampshire. Not so fast, New Hampshire said, holding its primary today. Anyway, without Biden on the ballot. So that led to this campaign to get him in as a write-in ballot.
So we had historic voter turnout in the Democratic primary today. We had almost twice as many voters today than the 2012 primary here, which just goes to show that New Hampshire overwhelmingly supports Joe Biden. And I'd like to say that there's a lot of young support for Joe Biden as well.
Shows you some of the enthusiasm in the room talking to people who organized this campaign to get him in as a write-in candidate. They say they're going to celebrate tonight, enjoy this, but then the work continues tomorrow morning. No, there's a lot to do between now and November. Live in Manchester, Eli Rosenberg, NBC 10 Boston.
All right, Eli, thank you very much. So if President Biden wasn't here in New Hampshire, well, where was he? He was in Virginia at a campaign rally. It was to show support for abortion rights. This week marks the 51st anniversary of Roe versus Wade. In that speech, the president blamed former President Donald Trump for the end of the abortion protections that were part of that landmark Supreme Court ruling.
Today is a day to call to action. With your voice, with your power, with your vote, we can restore the protections that have been around for over 50 years under Roe v. Wade.
Now, at this event, as you see here, Biden was interrupted several times by mostly pro-Palestinian protesters. Their shouting ultimately drowned out by Biden supporters chanting 4 more years.
That was in Virginia. As we come back here to New Hampshire, and people were flocking to the polls to vote. We've been focusing on the names on the ballot, but they had a lot of concerns that stretch well beyond who is going to represent the country.
We want to hear from voters, right? So we sent our Kirsten Glavin out. She is sharing the voices of those voters tonight.
Voters turning out for the New Hampshire primary for all sorts of reasons, but the economy heard a lot at the polls on Tuesday.
Look at the economy.
The economy, the way things have been going, there needs to be a change.
I want to get the economy back on track and get, honestly, things back to the way they used to be.
Among other top issues, inflation, immigration policies, and war.
That's one of my main issues, I would say, supporting Ukraine.
A very strong turnout overall, but specifically for the Republican presidential primary. That's according to New Hampshire Secretary of State David Scanlon.
Towards the end of the afternoon, there were requests from some towns to get more ballots because they were getting nervous they were going to run out of Republican ballots.
Scanlon adding that despite the need for extra Republican ballots and over 100 towns hand counting votes, the process going smoothly.
The process is observable and transparent from start to finish.
Results in the Granite State between turnout and winners not surprising, with many voters seemingly unenthusiastic about the thought of another Biden-Trump election.
Over 70% of Americans do not want the choice between Biden and Trump.
And in exactly 6 weeks from tonight, we'll be repeating this process in Massachusetts. That primary is March 5th. Reporting in Manchester, New Hampshire, I'm Kirsten Glavin, NBC 10 Boston.